Hello and welcome to Crafts by Biddy. For today's project, you are going to need scissors, any kind works, a darning needle, once again, any kind works, I'm not picky, an 8mm crochet hook, trying to get in focus here, there it is, 8mm. You're going to need a stitch marker, and I am using the Hometown brand yarn that is size 6. It's rated for 6.5, but we're going to use an 8mm. Size 6 yarn. Any size 6 yarn will do. I got this from Walmart personally. Any size yarn. To start off today's video, we are either going to need a magic ring or my cheat for a magic ring. I personally can't get magic rings to work for me, so I use this cheat method. If you have more questions about working on the round, I have a separate video where I show you the cheat method, because quite honestly, I've never been able to do the magic ring, and that's okay. Either way, you are going to put 8 single crochet stitches into your magic ring or your cheat, and then you are going to pull your tail tight so your circle is nice and tight. Now that we have our 6 stitches in there, we're going to pull this real tight, and right now I'm going to be tying it in a knot because I find that it holds the shape better. If you don't tie it in a knot, you may have to pull it tighter later, and that's okay too. Next, we're going to increase by 1, so that is going to be for a total of 16 stitches. We are going to put 2 single crochet stitches in each stitch from the first round. We are going to continue this pattern all the way around until once again we have 16 stitches. Feel free to use a stitch marker. At this point, I did not use one, and that's okay. If you can keep count, go for it. For our next round, we are going to do an increase for 24 stitches. So we're going to single crochet into the first stitch, and then we are going to put 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around until you have a total of 24 stitches. It was at this point where I was getting a little confused, and I decided to put my stitch marker back in before I forgot how many stitches I was doing. Sometimes I do that, and then you just kind of gotta roll with the punches until you get to the stitch count that you want. We are gonna do the 1, 2, 1, 2 pattern until the end of the round, until you have 24 stitches. Now that you have 24 stitches, our next 2 rounds are going to be exactly the same. You are going to put 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch. You're going to keep that total count of 24 stitches. You are going to do this twice, 2 rows for 24 stitches apiece. Remember, we are going to do this all the way around twice. Now that we have those 2 rows done with 24 stitches in each row, we are going to cut off, leaving a nice long tail for this project because we have to make this exact same thing twice. So go ahead and rewind the video, watch that first part over again. I am going to slip stitch into the next stitch right here, and then I will be back when I have 2 of this exact same project. Go ahead and tie it off, rewind, and we'll be back. In our next part, we are going to connect these 2 pieces. To do that, we are going to start off by doing 12 single crochet stitches into the one that is still on your hook. 1, 2, put in our stitch marker so we don't forget the place. This is really important from here on out, so I'm going to continue to use a stitch marker. Now we're going to go in for the 3rd stitch, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now after this stitch, we are going to grab the other one, and we are going to find where we cast off from the last project, and we're going to slide the hook through that cast off stitch. We're just going to put a single crochet stitch into both of these. Make sure you pull through all of the loops, and boom, they're connected. Not very well, but we'll get around to it. We're going to do a total of 23 stitches after this, and then I will be back. Now that we've done the 23 stitches, we're going to put a single crochet in from the last stitch and onto the first stitch that is not taken on the other one. We're just going to connect the 2. And then they're connected again. Now you're going to do a total of 11 stitches back to the beginning of your project. Once you've made it back to the beginning, we are going to put 48 single crochet stitches into this entire piece of work. There should be 48 stitches. You can go ahead and count. We are going to follow all the way around and put 48 single crochet stitches into this project. Remember to use your stitch marker, and I will be back once the 48 stitches are done. Now we did that last round, and we are going to do our first decrease round. To do the first decrease round, we are going to do 4 single crochet stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember to put that stitch marker back in. It's really important to keep your place. Count back 4, put it in the 4th stitch. We are going to do our first invisible decrease. To do the invisible decrease, we need to go to the next stitch and just go through the top loop only. Grab the yarn, pull it through, go to the next stitch, go through the top loop only, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. That is called an invisible decrease because it doesn't leave large gaps, and when you're doing projects with working in the round, sometimes you need those gaps to be as insignificant as possible. Personally, sometimes I just like skipping stitches, and that's okay. So do however your heart desires, but I'm going to do the invisible decrease for this project. We will meet back again when you are at 40 stitches. Now that you are at 40 stitches, you are going to put 1 single crochet stitch in each stitch until you make it all the way around the project. Remember to use that stitch marker. It's really important to keep your stitches counted at this point. Now that you did those 40 stitches, it's time to do another decrease round. This time we are going to decrease to 32. So we're going to put in 3 single crochet stitches and then do an invisible decrease. The pattern is 3, 1 invisible decrease, 3 single crochet stitches, 1 invisible decrease, and you're just going to keep that up until the end of this round. At this point now, we are going to do another round of just single crochet stitches. So you should have a total of 32 single crochet stitches. Just go all the way around until you're back at your stitch marker, and I will see you there. We are going to do another decrease, so we're going to be decreasing to 24 stitches. We are going to do 2 single crochet stitches. So 1 and 2. And then we are going to do an invisible decrease. Remember to put that stitch marker back on. Very important to keep track of your stitches. Otherwise, your heart turns out a little lopsided. So keep on the pattern of 2 single crochet stitches and then an invisible decrease. Remember to work through the top loops only for the invisible decrease. Now that we have those decreased, we are going to work in another round of just single crochet stitches. So you should be at 24 single crochet stitches. So go ahead and do a full round of 24 crochet stitches. Remember to keep your stitch marker in place, and then I will be back for the next round. Now we are going to do another decrease round. This time we are only going to do one single crochet stitch and then a decrease. So we're going to go in once and then do an invisible decrease. Remember to loop through only the top loops. We're going to do that until we are decreased to 16 stitches. We are going to do one final round of just single crochet stitches. So for a total of 16 stitches, go around and do a full round of single crochet stitches. Next, we are going to do another decrease round. Now we are going to decrease it to 8 stitches. So we are just going to do one invisible decrease after another for a total of 8 of them. It's at this point that if you haven't stuffed your project, you probably should. I personally don't like stuffing the project until I'm close to the end, but a lot of people say it's better to stuff as you go. I personally believe it depends on the project, so here I am, almost at the end, stuffing the project. You can use your crochet hook to stab that stuffing in there, or you can use your fingers, whatever, a pencil, anything really works. Just stuff it until you feel it is stuffed enough for what you are working for. Now that you have your project stuff, we are going to do our final and last crocheted round. The pattern for this round, we are going to do one single crochet. So here's one single crochet. And then we are going to do a decrease. So that is through the top loops, 1, 2, yarn over and pull through, and then we're going to do another single crochet stitch. I'm going to throw that stitch marker back in there to keep our place. Single crochet stitch. And then we are going to do an invisible decrease. Then we're going to do one more single crochet stitch. And then we are going to slip stitch into the first chain. Then pull up a loop. Go ahead and snip your yarn. Remove that stitch marker. Snip your yarn. You're going to pull up a knot, so grab your loop. Grab that tail and pull tight. You're going to go ahead and thread the yarn onto the darning needle. And then we are going to loop through the top loops of each stitch in this round. If you can't get it through the top loops, it's not a big deal, just go through the whole stitch, but either way, try and work through the top loops. It makes it pulled tight better, and it makes a nice pointy end. Go ahead and pull tight, and then tie a knot, and pass the needle back through your project and hide your tail. Go ahead and snip off the excess tail, and you have yourself a heart. You can use this project to do hearts of different sizes. You just have to increase or decrease your yarn size. The top heart is the one I showed you today. The bottom heart is the same pattern using a smaller yarn and a smaller hook. Thank you for watching, and as always, feel free to check out us on social media and our Etsy. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, here on YouTube, and on Etsy. Don't forget to like and subscribe.